Okay, so one more little tack on I wanted to add to the video I just made about the dude playing music. You can still hear him. It's hard to hear over the... There's like planes going, a lot of planes going by and over right now. Anyway, so last night he was doing the same thing. My hair's such a gross mess, I'm sorry. He parked up and was blaring music since before sundown, and then well past sundown, late at night. I asked him a couple times to stop, like turn down, especially at night, because I didn't want the cops to get called on us down here. And at one point I was cooking, so I was making some curry on my stove in the RV, and finally I realized it's been like at least like 4 or 5 hours or something. He's just been blaring the music in his Jeep, and I look out, I'm about to say, like, can you turn it off this, like, again, please? And I realize he's not even in his Jeep. He's blaring the music. He's not even in his Jeep. And I'm looking around. He's down the street talking to this kid who stops off in his little car, like on his way to and from work, and like smokes a joint. Sometimes meets up with other, like, they're teenagers, like 19, 20. And I'd met him. The kid's name was Brian. He had like a friend in the passenger seat. So I chatted with him a few times before when he had come out here and parked up. So he was down the street, several yards down the street, talking to Brian through the driver's side of the window. And I'm like, so finally, I'm like, dude, that's it. I came out of the RV. I was like, dude, please turn the music off or turn it down. You're not even in your Jeep listening to it. You've got it blaring so loud out here. It's the middle of the night. You're down the street talking to somebody. Turn your Jeep off, like turn your music off in the Jeep. It's ridiculous. No, I'm not doing. I'm not, like. He's like, you're gonna learn. I'm coming out 20 years. You're gonna lose. I'm gonna win. Like, what? I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was a freaking competition. Like, we're both stuck out here. Well, I mean, I think I'm more stuck than you. Like, there's only so many places I can park an RV. He's got a Jeep. He can park his Jeep in a lot of other places. And I've got 2 cats I'm responsible for. I can't be just parking this up in a Walmart parking lot because I can't just let them wander around a Walmart parking lot. It's better for them here. He's got lots of other options, and I don't. And I'm pretty sure he has more money than I do right now. He seems to be able to buy lots of weed for himself. So, he just sits here and smokes weed and listens to his music really loud and occasionally gets out of his Jeep to go talk to some random person that shows up. Typically, like, one of the kids that show up here, and he's, like, influencing all these teenage boys to think that he's cool, and he's like Charles freaking Manson, really. Anyway, what I want to say to those kids, what I wanted to say to them, I said, like, you're like Charles Manson, but I should have said, like, dude, so here's a golden nugget of wisdom that I had to earn from being alive and thinking about stuff and having experiences. And you're only 19, so here you go. Here's a golden nugget of wisdom about this dude and about similar dudes. He's a narcissist. You're not his friend. He's not your friend. He doesn't give a shit about you. He uses you to validate himself. Here's how I know this. He sits around here and complains. I'm sure he's complained to you about he's got like a restraining order against him from his ex, and which I wouldn't judge him for that because the ex might be a nightmare, and he's barred from seeing his kids and so on and so forth. And it's like, but what is he doing to fix that? He's not doing anything to like make himself a viable custodian to his kids. He's just getting high down by a canal. Like, he doesn't really care about the well-being of his kids. What if something happens to his ex, and then who's going to take care of his kids? He's not very good backup right now, is he? He's just smoking weed down in his Jeep, living in his Jeep for months, I've been being told, down here by the canal. So if you know anything about willpower, your will is not your deciding factor. It's not your decision maker, okay? You can figure this out pretty easily by thinking about New Year's resolutions, okay? On New Year's, at least in the Western Hemisphere, when New Year's rolls around, we all make New Year's resolutions. You know, I'm going to do less of something or more of something. I'm going to smoke less, eat healthier, get more exercise. And the big joke is, typically we don't do it. Why? Why not? I mean, we decided to do it. Isn't that our will? No, it's not. Your deciding factor, your decision making is a totally different thing from your willpower. and your decision making has next to no power. Your will has all the power, and your will is your desire. Your desire is like what you desire the most deep down, what you want the most to satisfy you. That's your desire, and that's your real will, and that's really dictating what you do with your life. So if you're satisfied, most satisfied, whatever you desire is most satisfied by sitting around on the couch, scratching your balls, smoking weed, you're not going to do much with yourself. He desires validation, like from living in fantasies and from, chatting up other people and having them validate him. And the only reason he wants access to his kids is to have them validate him. It's not for him. He's not there for his kids. His kids are there for him. Otherwise, he'd be working to change his situation so he could have access to his kids and be a custodian to his kids again. I need to remember to look at the freaking light. And that's not what he's doing. He's just wallowing and sitting down here in his vehicle and smoking weed. Like, even I'm not that bad. I'm still trying to make moves to freaking improve my situation. He's just flat out decided like he's going to retire down here in his Jeep. But then he's complaining that he doesn't have access to his kids. He can't see his kids. Well, children shouldn't be raising children, and you're a child still, You deal with issues like a child does. You were asked many times not to play your music so loud, and you threw a temper tantrum like you're a toddler dealing with your mommy, and just turned it up louder. So, yeah, he's a narcissist. The reason why he's sitting down here in his Jeep, living in his Jeep, smoking weed, and not making himself into what he needs to be a good backup for his kids, good custodian for his kids, and really be trusted with access to his children, means that he doesn't care about his kids. He doesn't give a shit about them. Not any more than they validate him. They make him feel good about himself. So that's why he wants access to them. Likely only for small increments of time, just long enough to feel good about himself, because he's using them to validate himself. But he's not interested in doing what he needs to do to really provide for them. At the very least, even if his ex has it covered right now, again, you never know what's going to come down the line. Something might happen to her. He might be called upon to take over being custodian of them. But what's going to happen when he's living in a Jeep down by the canal? I guess they're going to go to an orphanage? I don't know. Because he won't get his shit together. He's not someone you should be emulating, kids, is what I wanted to say to to Brian, the 19-year-old. Instead, I only got as far as saying, dude, you're like a cult leader. You're like Charlie Manson. His name's Steve, the child, big overgrown child, that you can hear his music playing in the Jeep. And then he got flustered and said, "That's it, I'm calling the cops, reporting you for harassment." I'm like, dude, I came out here to ask you to turn your freaking music off. I've been asking you for a while now, hours, to turn your music off. You're acting like a child. And then I called you out for being a child and embarrassed you in front of 2 teenage boys, and now you're going to report me for harassing you. Fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Because he said he was going to call the cops and report me for harassing him, I called the cops and explained the situation too. They showed up, and they're basically like, yeah, we've been dealing with him for a while. He's down here, he just thinks he owns the whole area, and he really tries to police it, and it's he's very territorial, and he's trying to push me out of here by being a total jackass and playing his music really loud. And I asked Brian, I was like, dude, can you stick around and just tell the police what you saw? I'm not harassing him, I'm just asking him to turn his music down. Brian's like, I don't want anything to do with this, and just got the hell up out of there. And I even remembered his license plate, because I was like, if I have to freaking tell the police the license plate of this poor kid, I don't want to get the kid in trouble for being out here, because I know he's whatever. He's like a kid. He's working. He's trying to figure out what he's gonna do before he goes to college. He's just chilling out here for 15 minutes before, to and from work. So I don't want to get in trouble, but he's an eyewitness. So I memorized his license plate and wrote it down just in case, but I didn't need to give it to them. So, it's ridiculous. This is freaking ridiculous. It's so loud. That, you couldn't hear it quite as loud because you can't see, I'm over in my little hubby back here. Cubby, hubby, whatever. It's so loud when you come out here. And there's not a bunch of people out here right now. Well, here comes somebody with his dog down the street. It's just so obnoxious. Anyway, I just wanted to add that in, that there was already an issue where cops were called. And I believe that he also, because he coincidentally just like happened to take off and not be around for a little while yesterday, and when he was gone, a cop showed up here and said that there was a report that somebody was dumping trash when I'd spent all morning yesterday like picking up trash all around here, which I explained to the police officer, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's that dude over there. He's very territorial. He doesn't want me around here. I'm pretty sure, because they were like, it's an anonymous report. Somebody reported you're dumping trash, or that somebody was down here dumping trash. I was like, well, people have been down here off and on all day. And of course, there was nobody there but me at the time, and the dude had gone a bit before. So he's like, he left as soon as everybody else wasn't here and made that report, is what I'm thinking, but I don't know for sure. So, because dude's trying to push me out of here. So I'm being bounced all around. I don't know what else to do. Except like now just whip out my phone and start recording all these incidents and start putting them up on the internet, reporting all this stuff, because this is insane. My hair's a mess. And I'm counting out a bag of pennies to go buy food for my cats, because I already opened the last can of cat food for them. I've got some food for myself. Like I can make like split pea stuff. I've got split peas and lentils, but I need to go get food for the cats. So I'm counting out a bag of peas, and then I'm gonna ride my bike to go pick up at least a couple cans of cat food. Through this freaking headbanger metal bitch boy music. Honestly, that's what I call it. I'm sorry. It's bitch boy music. It's whiny high school bitch boy music. Wah, wah, hate my homework. Wah, wah, hate my parents. Wah, wah, I'm gonna live in the basement forever. Wah, wah, wah. Of course he listens to this. Anyway, goodbye.